I need your help, please subscribe my channel. It was a Tuesday evening when the truth hit me. The kind of day that doesn't give you a warning before it shatters everything. I returned home from my part-time shift at the campus cafe, my hands still carrying the scent of espresso and bleach, ready to check the email I had been waiting for months. The scholarship I had poured countless nights into, while my brother Adam slept through deadlines and bragged about his connections. Mom sat at the counter scrolling through her phone. Dad's voice boomed from the TV, the volume so high the walls seemed to vibrate. I placed my bag down quietly, trying not to draw attention, and asked, "Did anything come through for me from Lakeshore University today?" Mom didn't even glance up. Probably nothing, I thought. These things always take time. But her tone, it was too controlled, too smooth. I walked over to the old desktop in the corner, the one we all shared. It was still logged into her account, likely used earlier. Switching to mine, I was immediately struck by how empty my inbox looked. No spam, no junk, no notifications. Nothing. Then I checked the trash folder. There it was. "Congratulations, you've been selected for the Lakeshore Scholar Program. Full academic tuition and housing." The timestamp was 2 days old. My breath caught in my throat. I clicked the message. It was addressed to me, my name, my essay quoted, my acceptance code. And at the very top, a small gray line, deleted by user. "Mom." I turned toward her, voice trembling. "Why did you delete this?" She didn't flinch. "It doesn't matter. We already told Adam." "What?" She let out a sigh, as if I were the unreasonable one. "He needs it more. He's studying something practical. You're just doing English. It's not worth it." Dad muted the TV without even looking. "Don't start. He'll make something of himself. You just write words. You'll drop out halfway." My hand shook so violently I had to set the mouse down. "You sent him my email?" I asked, disbelief clawing at me. Mom finally looked up, her eyes cold and steady. "I forwarded it. He applied using your link. The university doesn't care who fills out the paperwork as long as one of our kids attends. We fixed it for you. You should be grateful." "Grateful?" I repeated, voice breaking. "For stealing my future?" Her expression hardened. "Watch your tone. We raised you. You owe everything you are to us." I stumbled back, the room tilting around me. The television's blue glow flickered across Dad's blank face while Mom calmly sliced apples as if we were discussing the weather. I wanted to scream, to grab the knife and carve truth into the air. But I didn't. I just stood there watching her toss apple slices into a bowl, humming softly. When Adam came home later, laughing, phone in hand, I was still sitting at the table. He looked at me, a smug glint in his eyes as if he already knew. "You found out, huh?" "You took it," I said quietly. He shrugged. "You weren't going to use it anyway, right? You'd probably drop out and write poetry. Mom said I'd make better use of it. They needed something to be proud of at least once." I stood up. "You couldn't get in yourself, so you used me." He grinned. "That's family, isn't it? We share." Mom laughed softly from the kitchen. "Stop fighting. She'll get over it." But I didn't. Something inside me snapped. That night, while the house slept and the refrigerator hummed faintly in the silence, I sat in the living room, rereading the scholarship letter until the words blurred. Then I checked Adam's email, still logged in on the family computer. There it was, the confirmation enrollment ID, all under his name. My essay, my grades, my recommendation letter, every word stolen and stamped with his identity. They had replaced my life with his name. At 3 a.m., I packed my old laptop and the flash drive containing every document. I didn't bring clothes, photos, or anything else, just the proof. I stayed at a coworker's place for a week, refusing to tell anyone where I was. Mom called twice before giving up. Adam texted once, "You're being dramatic." I didn't reply. I wasn't done. I dove deeper. The Lakeshore student portal was accessible if you had an application number and login, which I did since I had begun the process. I typed in the code, held my breath, and watched the dashboard load. "Welcome, Adam Sullivan, Lakeshore Scholar." Every single document matched mine, except for the name. They hadn't just stolen an opportunity. They'd erased me. The numbness gave way to something colder. I printed everything. Emails, timestamps, deleted message logs, login IP addresses, all linking back to our home Wi-Fi. I labeled the folder Truth. For 3 days it sat on the table while I gathered courage. Each glance made my stomach churn, not from fear but disgust. They had turned me into a ghost before I even left. I thought about Mom boasting to her friends about raising smart children while I had stayed up until 2 a.m., proofreading Adam's essays, rewriting his cover letters, fixing his failed applications. "He just needs a little help, sweetheart. You're good with words," she had said. I was too good. And now those same words were under his name, earning him the life I had fought for while I scraped dishes at a cafe. They were yelling again. "I fixed it," I said. "They're calling the house. Do you realize how much trouble this is causing us?" "For us?" I asked slowly. "Or for you?" Dad grabbed the phone, his words slurred from drinking. "You always stir up trouble, girl. Why couldn't you just let your brother have his chance?" "It was never his chance," I said quietly. "It was mine." "You'll regret this," he hissed. "Maybe," I replied. "But at least it'll be my regret to own." I hung up and shut the phone off. That night I slept deeper than I had in years. By morning the news was out. The scholarship office had voided Adam's application, and Lakeshore's administration informed him he was banned from all academic institutions for falsifying documents. Around noon he showed up at the cafe, eyes red and face tight with anger. "You think you won?" he demanded, voice cracking. "I didn't need to win," I said softly. "I just stopped losing." He slammed his fist on the counter. "Mom's having panic attacks because of you." I stared at him. Good. Maybe now she'd understand what anxiety feels like. He froze and I walked away. For the first time in my life I wasn't trembling. The girl who cried in silence was gone. The daughter desperate for approval had vanished. What took her place wasn't bitter, it was steady. That weekend I began packing. Not to escape, but because I was done living somewhere I wasn't wanted. Mrs. Adams helped me find an apartment near campus. She hugged me before orientation. "You earned every bit of this. Don't let anyone rewrite your story." "I won't," I said. And I meant it. Driving past the old house one last time, I noticed the blinds drawn and the lawn unkempt. A crooked "for sale" sign leaned against the dirt. Karma? Consequence? Maybe both. Either way I kept moving. 3 months later, I stepped through the glass doors of Lakeshore University, scholarship ID in hand with my name in gleaming gold. The campus smelled of rain and pine. The very place I had dreamed of while wiping tables at the cafe, pretending spilled sugar was snow. My dorm was small, tidy, a desk by the window looking out at the courtyard. I pinned my acceptance letter above the bed, not for decoration, but as proof of my existence. I didn't tell my parents where I'd gone, but they found out anyway. Mom's first text: "You embarrassed this family. Do you know what people are saying about us?" The next day Dad left a voicemail. "If you have any decency, help your brother fix this. He can't even get into community college. You ruined his future over an email." Over an email. That's what they called my future. I didn't reply. Instead, I threw myself into my classes: literature, philosophy, psychology, devouring every book as if it were oxygen. One evening, Dr. Whitmore pulled me aside after a paper presentation. "Your writing has an edge," he said. "Not just smart, it's angry. Channel that." I smiled faintly. I already was. That night, I opened a blank document and poured out what had been simmering inside since they tried to erase me. Not a journal, not a confession, a story. I called it "The Family That Buried Its Own." Fiction, but not really. Every word carried the truth. Betrayal, manipulation. The way they laughed as they stole what was mine. Raw, ugly, and real. I wrote until the sun came up. I submitted it anonymously to a national student writing contest and then forgot about it. 2 months later, the email arrived. "Congratulations, Rebecca. Your short story, The Family That Buried Its Own, has won the Westfield Literary Award. Prize: $10,000 and publication in the Northlight Review." I stared at the screen, stunned. My words, my voice, were about to reach everyone who had ever tried to silence someone like me. The irony was sharp. The same people who said I'd waste my talent had fueled the fire that made it unstoppable. The issue came out a month later. My story went viral among college readers. People debated it online: dark, too real, painfully honest. They didn't know it was me. But my parents did. An unknown number texted me, "You're sick." You humiliated us. Take it down before anyone finds out. I ignored it. That weekend, Mom appeared on campus. Same heavy coat, same rigid posture. I watched her march toward me, heels clicking like gunfire. You think this is funny? She spat. Destroying your family makes you strong? I looked at her calmly. You destroyed it the day you decided I wasn't part of it. Her jaw clenched. We did what was best for you. No, I said. You did what was best for him. Always. But this time you picked the wrong person to erase. Her eyes flared. Ungrateful. You should thank us for raising you. I stood meeting her gaze. Thank you for showing me exactly what not to become. For a moment I saw it, fear. The realization that the daughter she once controlled with guilt wasn't afraid anymore. She turned and stormed off, muttering, You'll regret this one day. And I didn't feel small. By summer, my story had been republished on 2 literary blogs. The department offered me a teaching assistant role. I began writing again about rebuilding identity fire. Meanwhile, rumors spread. Dad's construction business was collapsing. Adam had borrowed a large sum under the family name, promising repayment once his university plan succeeded. It didn't. Creditors called. The childhood home went up for sale. Mom sent one last message. We're losing everything. I hope you're happy. I stared, then typed. You said I'd waste my future. Looks like I learned from the best. And blocked her. A year later, I stood at the university literary gala. The air alive with music and laughter. The dean introduced me. Author whose story sparked a national conversation on family and merit. Cameras flashed, applause thundered, and inside I felt peace. Not revenge. Not triumph. Peace. At home that night, I opened my laptop. In the drafts folder sat a file named Truth, once filled with evidence. I renamed it Freedom. I smiled. I hadn't just burned their dreams. I had built my own from the ashes.